Last time on Multiverse, Oob reached out to Zen Buu in order to help him better understand the magical side of his powers. While he was led to a mysterious realm, another royale of chaos would break out in the arena. As Buu is forced back to his native universe, what has become of his human reincarnation in an alternate dimension? What tricks can he learn there? This is part 61 of an ongoing series and was created by Salagir and Asura. Support them and catch up fully using the links below. Briefly before the barbaric, blood-ridden Buu brawl broke out in the battered battlefield, we jump back a few minutes to the apartments of Universe 4. Buu opens a portal and ushers his other self inside, possibly taking inspiration from the Room of Spirit and Time. They'll learn much more in another world where time has slowed significantly. This sets off a bell in Oob's head. He wants this done before his next fight. What could he be planning? Referring to his match with the Wizard C. At first appearing almost amiss to what he's talking about, Buu gives his new buddy a wink and utters, "Oh, it's nothing. I've already won." An especially ironic take given the outcome we're already aware of. Perhaps Buu could have avoided becoming a giant egg, or cocoon thing again had he put his entire focus into his fight. As Oob cautiously enters the open portal, a much dapper Majin Buu greets him on the other side with literal open arms. He welcomes his new student to the School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Trademark. He instructs that step 1 is to study and deeply learn the lessons he's going to teach. They will then apply those lessons to step 2 before reaching step 3 in the form of final exams. And if we look at his brilliantly concocted formula on the chalkboard, it seems he himself has taken lessons from a certain group of ground-dwelling gnomes. Gnomes who may have encountered a Master Roshi-like mentor themselves. Montage time! Turning a desk into a delectable sugary treat. Who congratulates Oob that he's done it? In barely 60 hours, he's mastered the basics. Outside with the other universes, it has only been 10 minutes. Now they need to practice in, when something appears to seriously strain the Majin. He and his other iterations begin to dematerialize and fade away. He offers his student a reassured thumbs up and for him to revise his lessons until he returns. He himself will be right back? And just like that, he's gone. We have to wonder if this is the moment that C put a spell on him to be turned back into a sealed ball. The only thing left is Oob's voice echoing through the empty dimension. As instructed. Day turned to night and Oob still continued to work on his magic. Although, he'd really like to eat something other than sugar. It'd be nice to be able to turn some of these countless books into a steak or something. 30 hours pass inside this world. Only 5 minutes pass on the outside. He continues to study and make the most out of his, hopefully, short stay here, just as he's getting used to it. Another portal shoots open, entering with the grandeur and confidence only suitable to such a creature as the Majin, who announces, "Right's back at it then!" However, the obvious has to be asked, and what the heck happened? What's he been doing since he left? With a smile, he confides that it was nothing important. Surely, this has to be the moments between him being released from the ball and before being sent back to his own universe. But as he was saying, now they need to train using magic. Oob knows how to do this now, but he's too slow. In combat or even at a children's birthday party, he needs to quicken his skills and become efficient. Laying out some targets, the Majin does his best to improve the Earthling's reflexes. Faster! That's one! Turn it into an ice pop! That's one too! This time a cute kitty! Tired out and possibly stealing a certain mammoth's wife from a certain ice age, Oob has successfully diversified his transmutation abilities. In the background, we see everything from the aforementioned mammoth and kitty, a bicycle, giant hamburger, bale of hay, and likely much more off screen. His teacher compliments that he's good with moving targets. Now it's time for real enemies. He'll create them stronger than Oob himself. To oblige, he must defeat them using magic, which makes sense to Oob, seeing how they're in an illusionary world. Who can go above his limits to his heart's content here? But no, they're not in an illusionary world. This place is very real. It's merely a parallel domain to the normal realm. creating someone stronger than Noob. For himself, how to say it is easy. Very easy. Snapping his fingers, the world seems to change all around the young warrior. This is Buu's training planet. It contains all sorts of terrain, including the obligatory heaps of lava flow. While there is every earthly paradise and hell that's present here, he must not pick the carnivorous plants in the jungle region. Not for any obvious reasons. They're just a protected species is all. Slamming down onto the floor, Buu wants to get started with a placid beast such as this, who appears just to be a muscular iteration of Fat Buu, more or less. Leaning in with a sly smirk, he instructs his student to punch it. Unfortunately, Jakub didn't absorb as much information as he should have from before. Even though doing as properly instructed, he has to use his magic to defeat this thing. Turning to the young man, the omnipotent magician states that seeing how he can't defeat it with brute strength, he would like him to transform it into a cake and eat it. But, really? Now that he mentions it, he's heard quite a tale of a particular candy incident that didn't save the day for someone. Holding back his anger the best he can at being reminded of Vegito's antics, whether or not it worked out in the end, or even took place in his universe. The Majin hisses for him to just forget about that. His enemy would have to be thousands of times stronger than Noob to retain control once transformed. Magic remains an asset against most of his potential opponents. So, he's saying Vegito was. But that's enough of theory. Time to practice! Successfully transmuting him, albeit not into a cake but a giant cookie. Buu tempts him that he can eat it if he'd like. It's even gluten-free. Though if the transformation is permanent, who cares about eating it? But one mustn't waste food. Leading old protege here to figure that his next opponent, he'll just have to turn into a wrench or a spanner or something. Something useful. But Buu also likes eating those, he should know. And speaking of the next, he is now face to face with the Lady Buu. She steers towards him as he calls for her to transform into a, but is kicked in the face before he's even able to get the words out. Transform! Pause. Unable to make any headway, the ultimate controller puts a freeze frame on the action. Kneeling down, he takes Baby Bird by the hand. Pointing Noob's own finger towards himself, he instructs him to heal. Thus, during an entire day of hardship, Noob trained himself. He didn't know that at the same time, Buu was facing off against every opponent of the arena, and solo at that. Before finally, he's able to transmute Lady Buu into something, at least. While exhausted, this means they can move on to the final trial. An opponent who is stronger, and faster, and smarter. And just for fun, how about they make her prettier too? Anju, the woman from Noob's dream and village. Though the student doesn't think this is very funny, he shouldn't be messing around in people's heads while they're asleep. Of course, the Majin assures he's only kidding, but Noob surely isn't showing enough respect for his big brother. He promises to make a terrifying monster instead, before vanishing again. Surely he'll be back, just like last time? Little does Noob know, it's very probable that this is when Buu was sent away from the tournament. He might be stuck here alone. Well, not alone. Addressing his former friend, he grows a bit nervous as she scowls.
Terminate the targets!
Just as said before, this Anju is stronger, faster, and smarter than Noob. But if she is smarter, perhaps she's also more reasonable. He calls out for her to wait. Buu isn't here, so they should wait for him. However, that's not what she has in mind. she barks that Master Buu programmed her to attack until Oob succeeds in this trial. Getting to dry land and coughing up water. Looks like Oob may be in a bit of trouble. About to deliver another devastating blow. She states that the quality of Oob's training is their top priority. Thinking fast, the only solution that comes to the warrior's mind is pause! Prompting her to plop down on the ground, withholding her attack. That worked? Answering his question, Faux Anju replies, yes, as break functions are essential in training programs. With an awkward pause with eye contact, she then questions if he wants to read the list of special attacks, almost like she were a video game tutorial. Although this is a tidbit confusing, Oob resolves to ask her what her name is. But being nothing more than a training program, she doesn't have a name. But if he wants, she can answer to the calling of his choice. While an unexpected situation has arisen for the next great savior of Earth, just how is he going to get out of this dimension without the aid of Majin Buu? Will the latter find his way back to the arena to meddle some more? Or is this a start or end of young Oob's own adventure?